I'm Nadine and you are watching LIKHA. This video, we will journey through the learning process of charcoal. The materials I will be using are this charcoal kit from Shopee. If you're interested in purchasing, we will put the Shopee link in the description box. From the kit, I mainly used charcoal pencils, these graphite pencils, charcoal sticks, graphite sticks, erasers, blending stumps, and the sandpaper block. Brushes, aside from those, I will also need this Canson sketchpad, extra paper, and some tissue papers. Lesson number 1. Introduction to charcoal. For the first lesson, the task is familiarizing yourself with the medium. Knowing the different uses and techniques of the different materials that you have will be extremely useful. For this lesson, I watched several videos about charcoal on YouTube, particularly Christy Partridge videos, Charcoal 101 for Beginners, Charcoal's Do's and Don'ts, and other videos about the medium. This is the part wherein I learned the difference between soft, medium, and hard charcoal. So basically, soft charcoal is darker and easier to apply than hard charcoal, and mas madali siya mag-powder, which makes it good for covering large areas na dapat dark yung value. And yung hard charcoal naman, mas maganda siyang gamitin for adding details or light shadows onto drawing kasi nga lighter siya. I also learned that erasers are valuable tools in creating contrast and adding details to charcoal artworks as well. After absorbing these knowledge, it's time to put it onto paper. Lesson number 2. Practice, practice, practice. For the second lesson, the task is practicing charcoal techniques. I also practiced hatching and cross-hatching, which are techniques in building layers of charcoal for darker values. I followed this charcoal drawing technique worksheet from createartwithme.com and nagsama na rin ako ng blending practice and shading practice as well. I practiced the different types of strokes that you can do with charcoal pencils, which is either by using the tip or by using the sides of the pencils. Also included in the worksheet are pressure stroke practice and blending value scales. Pressure stroke practice is done by changing the pressure of your hand to create a dark to light value gradient. Blending value scales help in practicing seamless blending of dark and light values. I also tried out the different blending techniques to see their differences. Using the blending stumps creates a more textured look, while blending with the brush creates a smoother finish. To apply those techniques, I drew some basic shapes and forms with the help of the virtual instructor on YouTube. Lesson number 3. Making a charcoal flower. For this lesson, I followed Christy Partridge's tutorial, which will be linked in our description box below. This will integrate techniques from the previous lesson and some new tips and tricks. I started out with lightly sketching the outline of the flower. I shaded the darkest areas of the drawing, like the stem and the center of the flower, using a medium charcoal pencil. And then I moved on to the background. I used a soft charcoal stick to lay down the first layer of the background shadows. Charcoal is a very messy medium. To avoid smudging your work, place a piece of extra paper between your work and your hand to serve as a barrier. For the actual flower, I first laid down the darkest shadows and then softened it out using a paintbrush for a more subtle blend. Before laying down the second layer of charcoal, blend the initial layer first. Using a piece of tissue paper will make this process easier and faster. After that, I went back to the flower and refined some details. The last step for this piece is adding more charcoal to the background. And it's done! Let's move on to something more challenging. Lesson number 4. Making a charcoal portrait. The process is relatively the same for this one. Sketch, starting out with the darkest parts, blocking out shadows, blending, and then adding more details. Dito sa lesson na to ako pinaka nahirapan. May part sa gitna na feel ko hindi ko na siya masasalba kasi ang weird niya tignan. So, tinry ko munang mag-add ng details sa eyes. This is also the time na nakita ko yung free makeup brush na kasama sa Shopee package namin. So, ginamit ko. And I think yun talaga yung nag-transform sa piece since mas nag-blend yung charcoal. The rest of the process went smoothly after that. Nag-add lang ako ng details sa hair and naglagay ng mga layers sa parts na kailangan na mas dark. And here is the finished product. Nasa isip ko nun isa na may transform tool in real life, iyak. Lol. Learning a new art medium is both exciting and intimidating. But there is no right or wrong way naman to study art, so don't stress yourself too much. Ang mahalaga is that you put that pencil or paintbrush on paper and you created something that makes you happy. Just continue on creating and you'll grow as an artist. Schoolworks can be stressful, so I hope that you find the time to enjoy the things that you enjoy doing, be it art, gaming, or panonood sa Netflix. Yes. And that's all for the video. If you're interested in gouache or watercolor, make sure to check out the previous episodes of LIKHA.